Millions have watched him step into legendary roles, calm, fearless, almost untouchable. But behind that quiet confidence, Harrison Ford has always carried something more reserved, something he rarely speaks about. And now, in later reflections, one unexpected name has surfaced in the conversation: Rob Reiner. Not as a headline, but as a subtle glimpse into a deeper story. Because sometimes, the most revealing truths don't come from confrontation, they come from perspective. To the public, Harrison Ford has long been the definition of control. His performances feel effortless, his presence commanding, his silence almost intentional. He built a career on characters who say more with a glance than most do with words. But those who have worked within the industry often suggest that behind that composed exterior lies a man shaped by years of struggle, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to authenticity. Rob Reiner, by contrast, represents a different side of storytelling. Known for his collaborative approach and emotionally driven direction, he has spent decades crafting films that focus on connection, on dialogue, on vulnerability, on human complexity. While Ford often embodies restraint, Reiner has built his legacy around expression. Their connection isn't defined by a single project or public moment. Instead, it exists within the shared space of Hollywood, a place where creative minds constantly intersect, even when their paths don't directly cross. According to those familiar with the industry, the relationship between actors like Ford and directors like Reiner reflects something deeper than collaboration. It reflects contrast. Some insiders have described this contrast as a quiet tension, not conflict, but difference. Ford's approach to acting has always been internal, grounded in control and subtlety. Reiner's vision, on the other hand, often invites openness, encouraging performances that unfold through dialogue and emotional exposure. When these philosophies exist within the same creative world, they don't always collide, but they don't always align either. Moments like these rarely make headlines. They aren't dramatic or explosive. Instead, they live in the spaces between decisions, in the way scenes are shaped, in the way stories are told. Those who have observed both men over the years suggest that these differences represent the broader evolution of Hollywood itself, a shift between introspection and expression, between control and collaboration. What makes Harrison Ford's reflections particularly compelling is the journey behind them. Before the fame, before the iconic roles, he was a struggling actor working as a carpenter to survive. Rejection was constant. Opportunities were rare. That experience didn't just shape his career, it shaped his mindset. It taught him patience, independence, and a certain emotional distance that would later define his performances. Because of that, when Ford speaks, especially about other figures in the industry, it carries weight. Not because of controversy, but because of perspective. In later interviews, many believe his references to filmmakers like Rob Reiner aren't about disagreement. They're about understanding. About recognizing that storytelling doesn't belong to one method or one philosophy. It evolves through differences, through the quiet push and pull between creative minds. And perhaps that's the deeper truth hidden within this story. Because this isn't really about Harrison Ford or Rob Reiner. It's about the nature of Hollywood itself. An industry built on collaboration, yet driven by individuality. A place where artists bring their own truths, their own methods, their own struggles, and somehow, from that complexity, something meaningful is created. In the end, Harrison Ford's reflections don't reveal conflict. They reveal something far more human. That even in a world of larger-than-life personalities, the most important connections are often shaped not by agreement, but by respect. Because sometimes, the people who see the world differently aren't meant to clash. They're meant to remind us that there's more than one way to tell a story.